Chris Niemeyer, Michael McGreevy, Jamie Slingerland in the house. And we are just guys who love our wives. We love our kids. We want to kill it in business. And Jamie, can you just use a different audio for this part of it?
That's good.
I like how you said we love our wives.
I was going to throw it. I just couldn't.
Cuba has this mystery to it, right? Because Americans couldn't go there until just a few short years ago. What do you guys think? You want to go? Let's make it happen. There's these 1940s and 1950s cars that you can drive around, and to me it feels like I'm Biff Tannen or Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Yeah. We could just jump on a plane with you, Chris, and head down there.
Dude, I've got a companion pass for you. You're in. Free flight!
That's incredible, man. Thanks.
That lined up really quickly. How did we do that? Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneurial Family Man Podcast. Today, we want to share some exciting news we have about a really random adventure that just kind of happened. I mean, I literally woke up one Sunday morning to a text from Jamie saying, "You want to go to Cuba?
Pack your bags."
Pack your bags. And after some banter, within 24 hours, Jamie, Michael, and I, and a couple other guys booked flights, and we're heading to Cuba soon. Yes! How the heck did that happen so quickly? What in the world? What more about this?
It was a normal Sunday morning. Woke up, went to church, and then there's this restaurant that we've gone to maybe 2 or 3 times. So we decided to go there. It's called O'Charlie's. It's over there on Murfreesboro Road.
Oh, Charlie's.
No, you been there before? Unfortunately, there was a really long line there. So we were just waiting there for like 20 minutes for a table. And then Dan Miller and his wife come out of the restaurant, and we're friends with them. So we just started talking. And Ruthie and I had just got back from Paris with little Cecilia. And Joanne and Dan were asking her all these questions about what did you like best? And Cecilia was explaining. And then Joanne, by just what she was saying, it was obvious that she had been to Paris because she was talking to Cecilia about like, oh, I was in the Louvre and blah, blah. And Cecilia was saying the Louvre was amazing. I said, Dan, were you in Paris with Joanne? And he was like, no, I don't want to go to Paris. And I was like, really? Like, you're more of a homebody or what? And he was like, I just didn't want to go to Paris. And he's like, there's some places I'd love to go. Where would you love to go? And he was like, I want to go to Cuba like you and Diego did. And I want to drive around in those old cars and just hang out. I'll take you. And he was like, sign me up. Sometimes you can't tell if he's just being positive and saying yes or if he's serious. So if you are really serious, I will make this happen. Well, should it just be us? Or do you want to bring some more people? Like what size group? And he was like, we could bring maybe a couple more people. And I was like, what do you think? Like, so within 24 hours, pretty much everyone, except one guy who I'm not going to mention. I texted him a little bit ago. I think we're all in. We're going to go to Cuba and have a little adventure.
What a squad that is, man. I cannot wait.
It's going to be awesome. And seriously, like it happened so fast. I mean, I literally woke up to this text, and by that afternoon, talked to my wife and had a flight booked. And Michael, what was your situation like?
Yeah, pretty much. Jamie sent me this cryptic text that says this is top secret and nobody can know about this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, here we go. This is like last Tuesday. Then he mentioned the trip, and I started to think, oh, okay, I wouldn't mind going to Cuba with that crew of guys. And yeah, man, I just talked to my wife, and Lydia was like, well, who's going and why is this important? And we kind of talked about it a little bit, and she's like, yeah, I think you should go. I said, can you say that in my good ear? Yeah, you should do it. Yeah, go for it. We'll make it happen. So then we connected with her in-laws and made sure that we could figure out a way to have the kids taken care of and make sure everything good it would be good at home. And I was all in from that point on.
That is awesome.
Michael,
similar to what Alicia said too, was like, she said, so why are you guys going? I said, well, sometimes you just got to hang out with good quality guys and like level up your life. And this is a crew that, number one, it's just kind of cool to be invited by guys like you and guys that are part of this team that we're taking, Yeah. But she's like, man, that's just going to be an awesome few days together. I'm like, heck yeah, it is.
Yeah, the house that we have on Airbnb, I sent you guys pictures, but we have that amazing rooftop balcony that you can see the Capitol building. So we're going to be sitting up there with the laptop and the microphone recording podcast about entrepreneurship and free market capitalism in Cuba on the roof.
With a mojito and a cigar, right?
Yeah, we might get picked off if we're in view of the Capitol.
It's like, hey, Michael, don't move. You have a red dot on your head.
I mean, Michael, move. You have a red dot on your head.
Well, you got to pick up somebody. It'll be less competition for airtime on this podcast if we get rid of you.
Yeah, okay.
Chris, don't move. You got a red dot on your ear. You're going to pierce your ear with a Cuban bullet.
Well, that's kind of a good question, though, is what makes this worth it? Because it's kind of a lot, right? I mean, we're going to be away from our family for quite a bit of time. Yeah, 5 days about. Like you said, it's not a picnic down the street. This is another country, and it's a big adventure. As Lydia and I were talking about it, I think one of the biggest things was the people. I mean, these guys they're big thinkers, you guys included. They're people who help me grow, help me become better. I know that after spending 5 days with you guys, that I'm going to come back inspired. I'm going to come back focused, fired up, ready to take on whatever is on my plate when I get home. So that to me is like the biggest win is I know I'm going to be better and I'm going to grow by spending 5 days with these guys.
Yes, totally. That's the biggest thing for me too. We could be in like Paris or Bakersfield, California, but with you guys, like that's what's going to make the difference, right? So being in Cuba is going to be awesome and adventurous, but it's like being with you all, having the conversation, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, cruising around in this 1950s car, talking with the locals too. I mean, it's just going to give perspective, and so much life happens in all that time together.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know in the mastermind group that we're in with Dan Miller, we do these circle of influence calls where we kind of bring things in our business and our life out in front of the open. I'm thinking that we're going to have these sunset parties on the veranda with our guayaberas and cigars and our hats. And we're going to like pull back the curtain on our lives and our businesses and just be real with each other and speak into each other's life. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's crazy too. You think that you're going to get a whole lot done by sitting in front of a whiteboard in an office and strategizing. And there's a time for that for sure. But I'm just excited about exploring possibilities for EFM with you guys too. When you're sharing a meal or a drink or an amazing experience, sometimes these ideas and this inspiration is so much bigger and so much like wider than it could ever be if we were just in an office strategizing.
Yeah, we just know it's going to be very intentional time together. And, we all have different types of businesses too, but there's definitely some overlap. But the other great thing is these are just quality guys that we get to do life with for a few days. I mean, they're quality husbands, they're quality fathers. And that's some of the great conversation we get to have too. What are some of the struggles that we're dealing with or the challenges or, some of these guys have been through and their kids are now off and out of the house, picking their brain about how did you deal with kids at the stage that we have, there's going to be some really fun conversations, I think, and some things to take away from just a valuable time together.
Yeah, that whole expression, right? Like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. We're going to be hanging out with some awesome people for those days. 5 days with an awesome 5.
Oh, man, that is just living that concept out. I love that.
That's a good point.
You might, yeah. What about you? You might be listening to this and thinking, okay, that's great for you guys, but what about my family? What am I supposed to do about them? Can't just leave them behind because they need me. They need my help. My wife needs my help with the kids, and my kids need me too. Like I can't just leave them in the dust. I'm like, Chris, what are you going to do? Just drop your family and say good luck? I mean, how's that work at your house?
Boy, the timing is going to be an interesting one. So we're literally going to land in Florida, and a week later, I'm going to say sayonara. But we talked about that. This was part of our conversation, Alicia and I had when this opportunity came up. Right now, as we're recording this, the second week of July, we do not have a place we're landing yet in Florida, but we're just kind of living by the seat of our pants, and this is an adventure of life we have. And so she's cool with that. I mean, my wife is amazing, and she's adventurous, and she has been to Cuba, which was a positive for this, because I think if she hadn't been to Cuba, the conversation might have been a little bit different. But she's just excited for me to go, and she'll figure it out. I mean, she's very, very capable mother with 4 little rugrats that she gets to deal with. So whether she's in a hotel at that time or at a place unpacking boxes, like, she's cool with it, and she's going to be in a place in Florida where she's going to be happy, and it's just a short trip too. So she's going to have her own adventure. Jamie, what about you?
It all unfolded right in front of Ruthie's eyes. So she would have made a fool out of herself if she didn't support me. So what you have to do, guys, is look for an opportunity in front of other people to get your wife's blessing. That way she can't renege on it. Like, that's my whole philosophy. Michael, you're cringing. Is that not what you did with
reasons? Well, and I don't believe you.
I'm thinking that you went to Lydia and you said, hey, like, do you want to make me look bad in front of these other people? They're all their other guys' wives are letting them go. Like, why can't I go?
Yeah, right.
So it's like what Chris was saying. It's the second week of July. Ruthie is going on a trip by herself to a conference for a week, a coaching retreat. Just like you guys, I've seen you guys do this right in front of my eyes. We support and send our wives off places like Portugal or Houston or Puerto Rico to visit their family, because it's reciprocal. It's like, we're not these guys who are in Cuba. They have that word machismo, which means like you put the woman in their place and you're the guy, so you call the shots. Our wives have the spirit of adventure in them as well, so we send them on their adventure. And then wouldn't you know that there's things that get us excited, and our wives not only support us, but they send us off with their blessing because we do that for them. It just seemed like an authentic adventure to Ruthie. It just seemed like a really cool opportunity to add value to him, and Ruthie was just all in on it. We've had lots and lots of small conversations over the years. It seems like certain opportunities come up and it just feels authentic and it goes along with our values. So the decision was already made for certain opportunities come, and you got to say yes.
When you have the freedom and flexibility in your schedule too, to where you could just say on a Sunday morning, hey, let's do this. Okay, we can make it happen. Michael, I got to be honest. You're the one with the young family here, and you got a baby and some craziness going on. What are you going to do with your family? How are you going to set them up for success while you're gone?
Yeah, I like Jamie's point. I mean, if we get behind our wives and what they want to do and help them out, then it just opens up the door for us too. It's like you said, a reciprocal relationship there. Just recently, Lydia had been in the throes of newborn life, taking care of the baby, taking care of the toddlers, and she wanted to see her friends in Dallas, and 2 of them had just had babies. She also wanted to see her brother in Atlanta, so I got behind her in that. I said, yeah, go, like, make it happen. We'll do what we have to do here. Go spend some time with your friends, go spend some time with your brother, and then when you come back, I know you're going to be in a better place anyway. And so that happened not too long ago. So when I brought this up, it was more of, how can we make this happen if it's important to you, versus no way. So that was our starting point, is how can we make this happen? And so we started to think about, okay, well, her parents live in Tampa. Will they be at that house during this time? Yeah, we figured out that they would. We talked to them about helping out with the kids, so Lydia could fly down there with the kids, spend time with her family, and that would be perfect. So she could get the support that she needed and the help with all those little ones, and I could break away for those 5 days. So it's just a matter of talking it through and together deciding if it made sense and if it was worth it to do what we needed to do to make it happen. And we both decided it was. So here we are, and I'm pumped about it.
That's awesome. I'm just realizing too, our wives will probably get to meet for the first time and probably get to maybe hang out with the kiddos on a beach in Clearwater or Tampa. while we're gone.
Awesome.
That'll be pretty
That's so
sweet.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. When you told me that you were going to do that, and I realized there's Southwest flies to Tampa, I'm like, dude, let's fly in together off my free buddy pass. Fly in on a quick nonstop flight. That's going to be awesome to do.
Yeah, can't wait, man. Just got to weave through those Cuban missiles and get there in one piece, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
How can you set up your business and something that's like this very last minute type of situation where you're just seizing an opportunity in front of you and you're gone for 5 days, but you only have a month or two to plan that? What's it going to look like for our businesses while we're gone to prepare and still be thriving while we're away for, a quick trip?
Just a couple years ago, I didn't have my business set up in this way. It's taken a lot of intentionality for me to be able to leave with any peace of mind at all. So, I think that's something we should probably talk about maybe on a full episode in the future. But this idea, if that's one of our top values, to have that freedom and flexibility, it doesn't come naturally. Like Chris, like you shared several times how that book, The E-Myth, has really helped you realize that you only had a job and now you're creating systems and processes so you don't have to be there all the time. Just a few short years ago, I could probably leave maybe for like 5 or 6 days at a time, a few times a year, but there'd be no way I could tell my family I'm going with a bunch of bros. It's like I had to use that time to do a family vacation. So it's something about our brand and about the common values that the three of us have that we long to do more things like that, like this with each other. And we got to position our business in a way that we can kind of hit the pause button and have some things keep going while we're gone.
Yeah, that's true. I know I always have to think in advance and do a little planning to make sure I do have that flexibility. I can't let it creep up on me and then last minute try to put things in place. So what I do is I try to, first of all, schedule my coaching clients not on that 5 days that I'm going to be gone. So they're pretty understanding usually. This far out in advance, yeah, we can work around something like that. Now, there's other things that I have going on weekly. I have 2 mastermind calls that happen weekly, and I've set up some co-facilitators that will take the reins for me while I'm gone. So actually, these are people I trust who I've developed relationships with, and I know they'll do a fantastic job, and they're happy to step in and just run the meetings while I'm gone. Because I'm pretty sure it's illegal to have a mastermind in Cuba, right? We'll get arrested for running one of those meetings.
I think the 6 of us that are going to be there will be detained because of that masterminding going on around all the meals we're having.
On an episode before, we talked about Diego crashing the drone into the side of the house, and we have to get that fixed. But Diego and I were just watching a video before the last trip to Cuba. This one guy from Canada flew a drone over the Capitol building, and he got thrown in prison for a month and a half because they thought he was trying to do like espionage stuff. So I'm definitely not bringing the drone.
Don't bring your drone. We'll point at you with the remote control. Michael, I love how flexible you are, though. And you said you can just plan it in advance, and then it's just you're not going to have a worry when you're there because you've set your business up to be facilitated by others. You can clear your schedule enough. So you're really going to go in there with not really much stress in the world. Business is going to be right.
That's right. And, I learned a lot of this stuff from you, Mr. Nehemiah. You have taken steps in your business to free yourself up on a larger scale. You've been intentional about this in the past year or so. Talk about what you've done so you can take part in trips like this.
Yeah, this is timely because I literally just this morning, about 2 hours ago, had to fill out my diagnostic for that entrepreneurship program I was part of. Like every 6 months, they kind of give us a check-in, and there's this some free flowing stuff. And I had just literally typed this out and said, prior to this program, I had a glorified job that I created, but if I didn't do the work, I wasn't getting paid. And that was a big realization for me. So now, I was able to, over the last, say, 18 months, hire some really key people that are running my business. And I'm really essentially the business owner looking at the bigger picture, but it's not where I have to be, on phone calls throughout the day or locked to my laptop like I used to be. I remember having conversations with Jamie, maybe a couple of years back, who just felt like, man, you feel like you're kind of locked to your desk a little bit. And I was. And so now I've been able to overnight success. Yeah, right. It only took a long time to get to a point of freeing up my time freedom a lot more. And so now I can manage a few things. But like you, Michael, I'll have to move a few things around. I've got a couple of coaching clients now as well, and a couple of calls a week that I do with my team. And so I'll need to make sure those are not impacted, and I'll move things around a bit. But it's going to be awesome. And it really is a kind of a cool realization that we'll be there growing our businesses in a different way by masterminding together and growing, leveling up who we are. And yet back home, literally our businesses are still thriving.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I know that I'm going to come back with my cup full. And when my cup's full, everybody around me gets the benefit from that. I have more to give as a husband. I have more to give as a father, and more inspiration and creativity to give to my business and my clients. So it's not just an escape for me. It's so much more than that.
That's a great point. A lot of guys think of a bro trip maybe as like an escape, or a lot of guys have, frankly, hobbies that they fill their weekend with to maybe escape. But this is, we're not escaping anything. This is like something we're running toward, and our wives are helping us to the start line, like to run toward. It's pretty cool to have that realization too. Yeah. I guess Ruthie kind of got snookered into it, but
No, she's so supportive.
I'm kidding.
So am I. She really snookered me into it. So this party really died. Let's take this plane down for a landing.
Yeah, this party's just getting going. Going to Cuba, baby.
Well, we know this is going to be an epic Cuba trip, and we want to do it with guys that we want to hang out with. And so, Chris McCluskey, I want to get your take on this trip and what we're looking forward to.
I'm pretty stoked, guys. I was not in on those initial conversations when this whole idea began to morph, but I'm so stoked that you came and said, hey, McCluskey, you wouldn't want to go to Cuba, would you? I'm like, when, where, I'm there. And yeah, my wife gave it her blessing. So I am very much looking forward to sitting down there in some goofy looking Hawaiian shirts and probably my hat that always embarrasses my kid. Dad, no, you're not wearing that. Yes, I'm wearing it. Smoke some Cuban cigars, tip back a few, and just soak up the rays. Got to do some snorkeling. I don't know if any of you are scuba certified, but might do some scuba. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Sign me up. Like adventure, I'm in. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm in.
All right. I'm looking into it. We're going to do that for sure. Havana.
If you're listening and you're thinking, okay, this is impossible to pull off. Like I could never do what I want to do. Maybe you've written yourself off. There's a place where we can continue this conversation. In our Facebook group, we talk about these things, about some of these struggles of putting together adventures like this. If you feel a little bit stuck in this area, jump in there, pose a question, and you'll have the wisdom of a ton of other EFM guys who are doing this life with you to help you along the way. So jump in that Facebook group if you're not already a part of it and join the conversation.
Yeah, I love that. And visit the website too, efmlife.com. Pose a question, pose a topic you want us to explore. We just love hearing back from you and having some of that feedback. The link to the Facebook group is on efmlife.com. So go there as well. And yeah, I'm curious to hear what people are saying about, what's a valuable adventure they like to have. I'm sure that we can all explore other valuable adventures we'd like to do together. So keep the conversation flowing.
Thank you for listening to the Entrepreneurial Family Man Podcast. Visit efmlife.com to connect with us and others like you who are pursuing success in enterprise, family, and marriage.